gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. That's right, everyone's a fan of something, and we have got something for every fan, especially you Battlebots fans. That's right, Battlebots fans, it is another Battlebots special right here on The Fan Show, a Robotics Division special, Battlebots. And tonight we have yet another edition and another great guest, another fantastic interview and conversation with said guest. But first, of course, we need to take this time to recap the action that happened from this last episode of Battlebots, episode 3, for those of you playing the home game. And it was another great fight card. It raises a few questions, but before we get to the questions and potential answers, let's go ahead and recap what we saw. We saw BreakerBox. That's right, you may know Jim Smitowski, formerly of Nightmare, now of BreakerBox. A bit of a different look. This bot, it's got mean eyes, but it's kind of a cute bot. Anyway, they took on F.A.N, but BreakerBox ultimately came up with the victory. They are 1-0. Then we had Railgun Max and possibly my new favorite team captain of BattleBots, and that's the captain for Mad Catter, just for his post-fight commentary alone. I thought this was a fantastic addition to BattleBots as far as character and personality points go. However, they did come up short against Railgun Max. It looks like a very solid, very competitive bot. Keep your eyes on these guys, folks. But Mad Catter, man, win, lose, or draw, I want to know what his post-fight speech would be had he won. So I'm very team Mad Catter right now, and it's awesome. Then we had the highly anticipated match between former teammates, and that was the guys in Monsoon, and Ragnarok. Ragnarok seemed to have some technical issues. Monsoon ultimately got the victory, making quick work of Ragnarok. So Monsoon, they are 1-0. And then we had Hydra, the quote-unquote new best flipper. Your judgment is as good as mine at this point, bot fans, because I don't know. Until they face Bronco, it begs the question, who is the best flipper bot in BattleBots? Well, anyway, they took on free shipping, and they flipped them for a good couple of minutes there, and they are now 1-0. So even though Team Waiachi took a loss early with F.A.N, they got another in the win column with Hydra. Hail Hydra. Then we had Bloodsport and Not So Lucky. Lucky's a great bot, folks, but Bloodsport 1-0. They're out to prove a point. They had a very solid approach, strategy, and a functional bot, which I think is something that we all agree is what you want in your first outing of a new season of BattleBots. Then we had Scorpios versus Copperhead. Copperhead, you may remember, was once Poison Arrow. A much different look, so much so that they changed the name of the bot completely to Copperhead. Scorpios got the win, but it was a very good fight. Props to both teams. So Scorpios 1-0. And then finally, the main event, Yeti and Bite Force. And man, you got to give props to Greg Gibson and Yeti, because he just does such... He is a fight fan's fighter, because he always goes balls to the wall in every sense of the word. Because he just attacks you at your strengths. He doesn't look to exploit a weakness. He wants to be in the thick of it, in the action, right up in your face. And he got right up in Paul Ventimiglia's face of Bite Force, but it was not enough. Bite Force remains undefeated, continuing on from their previous championship season last year, going into what could be another championship run. We'll see. But that begs the question, this kind of fight against this kind of opponent, can anyone beat Bite Force? They are a well-oiled machine. Trust me, when I was down there and I got to go through the pits, which I love doing, love wandering through the pits, it's crazy because you'll see teams that are very decorated, right? You have Witch Doctor, who has their Witch Doctor attire, their costumes, everything hung up, very orderly, okay? It's in an order. There is method to the madness. And then they have their pit operations as far as their tools, their tech, everything that they need to make any changes, modifications, or repairs to the bot itself. And then you have teams that it's like it's all decoration. Where are the tools at? There's a bot here there's pieces missing, but it's like it's all decoration. There was a giant inflatable swan. Or was it a unicorn? I don't know. It was a giant inflatable something in the pit that maybe you guys have caught in the background. But if you haven't, keep an eye out for it, because I believe it was a giant inflatable unicorn for one of the teams. And then you have Bite Force's pit, which everything is very organized. There is not a single tool out of place. Everything is labeled, crisp, clear. You know what goes where, what does what, and then the bot in the middle of it. And they are it's a beehive, man. They are such a machine, and that's how they approach their machine. So it's no surprise to me when they go out there and they perform as well as they do, because they have an amazing design. They have a fantastic bot, a great driver, and a tenured veteran team that anybody would be happy to be a part of, or anybody would want their team to function like that. I know it sounds like I have Bite Force envy, really, but you have to really appreciate. You don't have to be a fan of Bite Force, but you do need to appreciate what their team does. And obviously it's proven to be success, because these are the reigning champion members of Bite Force. And it goes without saying that if you're organized, your bot looks well, your bot's going to fight well. And I know that's not always the case, because there's a few of these bots that looked well that didn't fight all too well. I thought, obviously Mad Catter looked good. It's got a nice theme, gimmick to it, but it did not perform the way that you would want a bot that looks like that to perform. So we'll see what the rest of the season holds for Mad Catter. So better luck next time to Copperhead, Lucky, Free Shipping, Ragnarok, Mad Catter, and Falcon. We'll hopefully see what the rest of the season holds for those, what adjustments they make in the pit, what kind of changes, modifications are needed to be competitive the remainder of the season. But man, to Hydra, that's a bot to watch. I'm going to tell you right now. Hydra is a bot to watch, as well as Railgun Max, and even, I'm going to say, Breaker Box and probably Copperhead are bots to watch. But Yeti's definitely not out of it yet. I mean, these main events on the fight cards are meant to basically separate the good from the great, or the great from the excellent. And I believe that's what we saw. Yeti is a great bot. Bite Force is an excellent bot, though, as we found out this last episode. Episode 3, the repeat plays on the Science Channel tonight. You will have a bonus fight between Warhawk and Petunia. Go Warhawk. They're the only local bot. I'm here in Spokane, Washington. They're based out of Seattle. So go Rob and Warhawk. I know, I try to stay neutral, very unbiased, but when there's only one bot from your state, and there's like 3 from Texas, 5 from Florida, 10 from California, you tend to kind of side with the one that's representing your home state. So, Warhawk, represent. Do not know the outcome of that one, because that's the bonus fight tonight on the Science Channel. For the rest of you listening that haven't seen Episode 3, well, one, what's wrong with you? And I would really hope that you guys are up to date on your Battlebot stuff, and that's why you're tuning in to me here on the F.A.N Show, a Robotics Division special. But tonight's episode, another great one. I say that about all of them, but I do mean that. I hope you all have been very, very satisfied with the product that we have put out in podcast form. Don't forget, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You can follow us for all the latest updates, including these brand new episodes the moment that they post, by subscribing to any of those or following us on social media, either at F.A.N Show Official, or more specifically, if you're just a fan of the BattleBot stuff, then you can follow at F.A.N Show _robotic. That's right, robotic. There wasn't enough room for the S. But at F.A.N Show _robotic is our Robotics Division Twitter handle. Everything else, though, is under one umbrella, the one home, Facebook, facebook.com/F.A.N Show Official. And then we do have an Instagram. It's a one and done Instagram, so everything that we do with the F.A.N Show for any division is on one account, and that is the F.A.N Show. So go give us a like, give us a follow, but please give us a listen. Obviously, you're listening right now, but share it with your friends. If they're Battlebots fans, we want them to listen to this as well, because this is great stuff. I got to tell you, I stand behind my word, my promise, and of course, my product, that these exclusive interviews that you hear on the F.A.N Show are one of one. They are one of kind. You will not hear them anywhere else, and we try to do things in the most professional of ways while having a great time doing it. So, people of F.A.N Nation, tonight we release the Kraken. And no, that is not a euphemism. That is very much what we're doing. Matt Spurk, the captain of the Florida-based bot team, the mighty Kraken, who did a little bit of redesigning between last season and now. We talk about that, as well as his ultimate goal, his vision for what Kraken is going to be, like what he sees the future holding for not only the bot, but his team, and why they do what they do. It's a great look behind the curtain, but behind the scenes, in-depth conversation with Matt Spurk. So without further ado or any more delay, here is me and Matt of Team Kraken. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now for this week's BattleBots special, or our Robotics Division special, featuring BattleBots cast, crew, and builders. It is the man from Release the Kraken, Matt Spurk. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself, man?
Doing great. Can't complain when it is a new and, in my mind, improved BattleBots season happening on Discovery and the Science Channel. And you guys have a new and improved Kraken, which is off to a 1-0 start after taking down Ribot. I gotta say, man, the old Kraken, like my first impression was like, oh, that's cute. And this one, it's like, oh, well, that's not so cute. That's actually a little bit terrifying. Like, what? Like, explain this to me. How does Kraken version 1 get to version 2? And clearly, maybe it's a superficial thing, but it seems to be working because you're 1-0 now.
Yeah. So last season, I'd kind of drawn a picture of Kraken in a notebook, and working off the CAD and everything was kind of built off that picture. And the picture that I drew in my sketchbook was kind of gnarly looking. It was kind of nasty. But what it ended up with in CAD was kind of this kind of cute, kind of comic-y looking version of that. And, that design had some flaws. It got stuck on its head a couple times, and we lost matches that way. And, there were other design flaws with it. But we got it done in the time frame. We got out there, and we were happy with it. We were happy with how it turned out. But going back for the next season, we knew that level was not going to work. We needed to be better than that. So this time, we kind of went back to the drawing board, literally, and made it a little bit more angry looking.
It is a very intimidating bot. I remember being down there for the taping, and last year I was trying to see how many bots I could put myself under, stick my head in if they had, big teeth and a mouth, and get a photo. And one of them was, of course, now the name escapes me, but it was the dinosaur-looking one. I'm sure.
Oh, Warhead.
Warhead.
Yeah.
There we go. I was going to say Raptor, but I was like, no, it's not an obvious name. Okay, so yeah, Warhead.
Yeah.
I want to do that with Warhead. I wanted to do that with Quantum this year, but I wanted to do that with you guys last year, and I ended up not. And then when I went to this year, I was like, maybe I shouldn't. This thing might actually like bite me and chew me up and spit me out. But it is very intimidating design. I like it. It seemed like everything was what last year was, and then up a notch, including the speed and maneuvering, which I saw you guys do in testing before one of your fights, and then, of course, the actual power of what the jaw and the teeth could do. Is that accurate to say that everything from last year's Kraken has been turned up to 11, so to say, this season?
Yeah, absolutely. We replaced the tires on Kraken. They're a little bit larger diameter, and they also offer more grip. From one of our sponsors hooked us up with those. So those worked phenomenally well, and they just gave us extra speed and extra grip for pushing power. And then we increased the air pressure in the jaw to 3 times what we were running last season. And then the whole jaw, as you could see from the teeth arrangement, is all completely redesigned. So we're actually getting probably close to about 8 times the crushing force at the teeth that we had last season.
Wow. And for those of us that don't know, we don't do the math, very well. What is that as far as perspective for us, what it could crush last year and what it can crush this season?
So last season we were getting around somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 pounds of force at the teeth. And this season we're up around 40,000 pounds at the large fangs. If you go back one row of teeth, we're actually at 60,000 pounds where the center of the bag is. So 60,000 pounds is the weight of an adult male humpback whale. So
wow.
That's where we're at. And then obviously the closer you get, or the further you get into the mouth, the more force we get. So at the very last row of teeth, we're at 95,000 pounds if you get all the way back there, but it's kind of narrow.
Did you guys have to turn anything down? There's been a few teams that have had to turn stuff down. I know Deep Six had to crank it back, and even the guys at Double Jeopardy had to turn down their velocity. Did you guys have to crank it back once you had achieved this new bite force, pun intended?
No, actually, we left it all the way up. What we did see, though, is after our fight with Robot, that the teeth that we had were actually slightly shorter than they were when we started, and the tips were actually crushed on it. So we bit down on their steel frame, and it actually shortened the teeth a little bit. They got flat spotted. So for next season, that's definitely an upgrade we're going to do. Is we're going to get even harder metal on the teeth, so we won't be shortening our teeth any longer.
So you guys had a pretty convincing win over Ribot, which was great for you guys. It looked, from my perspective as a fan and viewer of Battlebots, that it went pretty much the best way that a Kraken match could go. Is that your ideal fight? When you guys control it, you've got everything working, and even if you're taking some damage, it's still that you guys are dictating the tempo of this matchup.
Yeah, and Kraken is specifically designed to take on that style of robot. The four-wheel drive robot with the small diameter or medium diameter disc up front or drum. That's like our ideal opponent. The narrow front jaw is able to kind of get in there and it's able to slide underneath their weapon. And then we're able to grab them, and then from that point, it's a pushing match, and we feel pretty good in that with the the drivetrain that we have and the tires that we have getting that grip. It makes a big difference. So that's kind of our ideal opponent. And then with the Crusher style, we are just aggression. We are always attacking. We are never running away trying to get the weapon spun up. And so when the judges are looking at for scoring the match, they're looking and they're seeing, all right, well, Kraken's always attacking. They're always attacking with their weapon. And then if we're biting and able to get a hold of them, we're winning the control points. And that counts for, 4 of the 7 points is those two categories. So any damage that we do just makes the score more lopsided.
Yeah, and like I said, it was you guys controlled that. Now, there was some controversy, not with you guys, but I did want to get your thoughts on this. I believe it was, what was the matchup? Quantum and Blacksmith, where Quantum locked in with its jaw and wasn't able to really let go, and that sparked a bit of controversy because some say, well, the bot's function is supposed to be able to open and close, and if you can't open, then that should be, I guess, maybe points against you. But then their driver, his argument was, well, if you get stuck with it, it's your job to get out. Where do you weigh in on this as the driver and builder of a crush bot, with teeth?
Yeah, so I'm the Crusher, so obviously it's the other guy's fault. But no, and I think in both, I can see the argument both ways. But at the same time, the builders didn't intentionally entangle the robot. It wasn't an intentional entanglement. And we saw that in other fights previously and stuff where two robots actually get stuck together. It actually happened in other fights this season, and through the miracle of TV magic, they're able to kind of edit it so they don't show the people going in and spending 20 minutes trying to separate these robots. But the spinners do tend to get stuck in armor panels as well, and there isn't quite the same deal out of it. But apparently when it happens with a Crusher, it's a big deal.
it's always the Crusher's fault because you guys are out there, being your big heavy metal Pac-Man and trying to eat everything.
Yep.
So we had an emotional Will Bales, which has blown up the internet, pretty much laying out there all your guys' collective feelings. But, one thing that I love about the Pit is that it's such a diverse group. And I don't mean that you have all these different teams from different countries. I mean you have these different teams that are made up of different people. You have teams that are actually teams. I know that Lockjaw, their team is like a team. They have a person that is specifically assigned to all these different tasks. The same with Bite Force and their team, and it's why they're so successful. But you guys, it's a family affair, which we're not strangers to. We see that with Whiplash and the Vasquez family. But for you guys, it's like it's not just mother, son, and father, daughter, or some mix of four. There's like you guys and your extended family. Like, what is it that makes this a family affair for Team Kraken?
We've been doing this as a family since we got started. My dad and I built our first robot back in 2002. We fought in January 2003 was our very first tournament, and we've been doing it as a family ever since. So for us, it was, it's my dad's there, one of my brothers is there, my kids are there, my wife's there, my mom's there, and my father-in-law is there, and then we have friends that are there as well. And for us, it's we just love doing it. We have so much fun with it that it's everyone wants to be involved, and we've all done it for so long. We all bring a different, unique skill set to the team and we work well together, which is nice. So we kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So it's a good team dynamic as well as a good family fun activity.
So while some families are saving up year-round to go to Disneyland or maybe to Hawaii or whatever, you guys are getting ready for the next season of Battlebots.
That's right. Yeah. So both of my parents and my brother both work. They all work for Disney, so we can go to Disney whenever we want. We got to focus on Battlebots. That's our priority.
And you guys, you go all out. You have the costumes. You guys have the gimmick. I mean, really, you guys are probably some of the best all-around teams as far as the fanfare, if you will, next to Witch Doctor, which is great company to be in because they've really mastered the art of having a powerful, effective, and kick-ass bot and not having to really lax or cut back on the paint job, the artwork, the design, or, of course, the costumes. And so I'm glad to see you guys now sticking to that and able to come back with a badass bot yourself and get a W in your, Season 4 debut. Now, Jill, that's her name, right? She's kind of your mascot?
Yeah, Jill was there, and then my brother Steven was there. He was with Ken in the anglerfish costume. Yeah, so the two of those, Jill was wearing the octopus costume, and Steven was wearing the fish costume. So they were just having fun with it.
Do they design their own costume, or is this something that you guys came up with that you're like, look, if you're going to come with us, you're going to wear this?
No, they found those on Amazon, and they're like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, go for it, because, we're just, like I said, we're just there having fun. We love BattleBots. We love the whole environment of it. And if there's something we can do that's just going to make it that much more fun, we're going to go for it, So that's what it's all about.
We had a fight this last episode with free shipping. And Gary Jin, who is apparently a very well-known builder in the BattleBot community and a big fan favorite. There's T-shirts now with his face on them. But, he doesn't win a lot. And same with Al Kindle and Blacksmith. He doesn't win a whole lot. But fans still love to see these guys in the box and their bots in action. And I really couldn't tell you what it is because I love Blacksmith and Al Kindle. I think he's a great guy, and I think his bot design is very unique, and it's fun to watch, even if it is a losing effort most of the time. But for you guys, you have this theme, this gimmick about you, and you might become another one of those staples where maybe you're not winning a lot of your matches, but the fans still want to see you in there. Is there a goal that you have personally for what you would like to see Kraken ultimately become in the world of BattleBots?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on it. I think are um, we look up to the Witch Doctor team a lot. They're kind of a staples. They're friends of ours. They've given us a lot of tips over the years, and they're kind of the benchmark that we try and live up to, kind of meet that standard that they've set. And then also, but they're a big spinner, you know. And whereas Blacksmith is another team that we really enjoy, that he brings something different. You know, a flaming hammer. He's cornered the market. He's the only one that's got that. And yeah, it might not be the most successful, and he could plant a big vertical spinner on the front of it and probably win a lot more. But it would lose something, you know. It would lose that character, and it would be a huge part of the show that would be lost if there wasn't a blacksmith there. And so I think that's the role that we are trying to fill, is a robot that is on the show, competitive enough that it wins, you know, regularly, but something that's going to bring a different season to it, a little different flavor, and that's really what we're going for. And I think we're kind of hitting on it this season. I think we're a lot closer this year than we were last year, and I think next year will be even better.
And as far as, you know, you guys and what you have going now, and obviously it's been a big improvement from last season to this season. I mean, I was there, I witnessed it, I saw it myself. I can attest to, you know, just how far you guys have come, even with, you know, sticking to you guys being Team Kraken and not losing that. Like you said, if Al was to go and swap the hammer for a drum spinner or a giant blade or whatever, you know, he would lose something. Where is your line when it comes to the design of Kraken, where it's, you know, maybe this year you have this win and maybe another one, season's 50-50, or maybe you just missed the 16, or maybe this is the only win you get this season, and next year it's back to the proverbial drawing board. Like, is there a line that you have drawn for yourself as far as what you simply will not change about the bot and what you might try to incorporate so that it is maybe more competitive the next year?
I think so. One of the things that I will not change is it will always have an anglerfish lure. As we were working on the design this year, we kind of had the whole thing built, and we didn't have a lure on it. And I was like, it's got to have a lure. You know, it's got to have that fire or that light. And then one of the things that we wanted to add this year, and we worked the whole time we were there, improving it the whole time there, and we're going to improve it this off season, is the flame. So we had fire. You saw it at the very end of the Ribot match, unfortunately. But the flame is something that we want to get dialed in and improve for next season. And but overall, I was very happy with how Kraken worked. I mean, you could see it in the Ribot fight. It really was able to show itself. We worked out a lot of the glitches last year, so you got to see that against Lockjaw and Red Devil, where you could see the bot kind of turned the corner after the Lockjaw match. So I think we're close now, and I think, you know, a couple more tweaks to the design, and I think we'll be about there.
Would you ever put like a spinner inside the mouth? Like, so you have the mouth open, there's the teeth, and then there's like a little small spinner in the back there, so that if you do end up getting under that bot, and you could do some damage while you're swinging it around the battle box there.
I'm not going to say never, you know.
Never say never.
Never say never. But I like where we're at right now. I think we're close. I think if we could, I think that was the part that was missing in the Ribot match. I think if we had gotten a hold of Ribot and then lit them on fire, I think that would have just been would have set the internet on fire. I think that was just the missing component that we had in that match. So, you know, and you look at some of the first seasons you see, or season 2 of the reboot, when Complete Control had Bombshell and was lifted him up and roasted him and actually did damage to it. I think the flame in that environment where you're able to hold them for 30 seconds and just put the heat to them, really is gonna be the difference maker.
Well, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And, you know, I love that you guys are staying true to yourselves and doing what what you ultimately want this to be and not conforming one way or another. Because there's, it seems like we get to the Elite Eight of the tournament, and it's got some familiar faces, both with as far as what teams are there, but their bot design, what works and what doesn't. And I think for you guys to not ditch the jaws for a giant, horizontal spinner or whatever you could throw on those two wheels, or even make it four-wheel bot, I think is really great for you guys, because as long as you're happy doing it, that's all that matters. And I've enjoyed watching it. So, hey, it was great getting to talk to you and meet you finally down there at the taping. I think you've got fantastic family and a great bot, and I am very excited to see how the rest of the season goes for Team Kraken.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Absolutely. He is Matt Spurk from Florida and captain of Team Kraken on Battlebots Season 4 on the Discovery Channel. You take care of yourself. Tell the rest of the family I said hello.
Will do. You too. Have a good one.
All right. And one more big thank you to Matt of Team Kraken. And that is going to do it for this all-new edition of the Fan Show Robotics and Tech Division BattleBot special that we are doing every Wednesday here throughout the new season, Season 4 of BattleBots. You can catch new episodes every Friday on Discovery, so download the app. Set your DVRs, mark your calendars, whatever it is that you do to make sure that you don't miss a new episode of one of your favorite shows. Do that for BattleBots. It has been a great season so far, and we're only 3 episodes in. Season 4, Episode 4. It's coming up this Friday, so make sure that you have that marked, the last new episode for the month of June, and then we have even more for July. And we will have a new episode next Wednesday, same time, same place. So make sure that you have liked, subscribed, downloaded, whatever you need to do to not miss a single one of these great Robotics Division specials featuring the cast and crew and builders of BattleBots. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you, or I guess get a notification that you have liked, subscribed, or followed the show. And you can listen and subscribe via SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. And we broadcast and record these episodes on Spreaker.com. So it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and I'm officially telling you that you need to like, subscribe, and download these episodes, and then give them a share, a retweet, or a text, whatever you need to do. Send the link to all your friends so that they can enjoy these episodes too. So best of luck to you and yours, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.